Good day. Today is Wednesday, 25th of December 2024. So it's a very special day for many people. Many millions of people who celebrate this day. It's a very special day, Christmas. And before I start, I want to just, as a respect for everybody who celebrates Christmas, some don't celebrate it, many others really don't, but they await their own specific day, which they also celebrate as intense as others celebrate Christmas. So I want to have present everybody in the world who actually like and have the habit to celebrate each year Christmas, but I don't want to forget those people who cannot celebrate Christmas, although it's their celebration day. They cannot celebrate because they are in a hospital or they are maybe very sick. So not forget all these people that cannot celebrate it, cannot enjoy it with the family, or other family members who cannot really celebrate it because they have other issues, very important issues with other family members or maybe close friends who pass through difficult times. So I want to englobe everybody. Humanity is everybody. Humanity is everybody. So the same with children. There are some children that cannot celebrate it because they are in a hospital or whatever. They have some issue. I don't want to go too much into details. It just, you know what I mean. So let's not forget these people. But in any case, I want to, more than anything, I want to express my respect for celebrations of humans, for Christmas, this day, for Christmas, and for other days, for the others who will celebrate another day. There are many dates that are very important in different cultures. So it's not only 25th, but today is 25th for those who do it, but it's a special day. And all the best for everybody. So let's go into the issue, the topic of these series of videos that I'm making. This is the session 4. In the session 4, today I want to do a little different session. I just want to make a summary of session 1, 2 and 3, because for those who really are interested in these videos, in this topic, the topic is humanity as a whole. For those who really are interested and have really gone into this seriously, into these sessions, who have listened, they must have realized that we have gone already through many things, although it's quite subtle and it's easily to just brush off or forget. But we've gone through many facets, let me use that word, many facets that describe and give us inquiry about humanity and how humanity lives and what is life. There are still many things that have to be discussed and be observed. By all of us. But still, I am observing something generally in all the people, mostly everybody who listens to these sessions. And what I realize is that it's very difficult for all humans somehow to understand this. And when I say understanding, I'm not saying to agree or disagree. No, this has no meaning. Also, like and dislike has no meaning. You may like these sessions, and it's maybe easier if you like it to go through them. If you don't like it, you may say, I don't like it, so I don't listen to it. But this is the problem of humanity. Now, when I say understand, it's not intellectual understanding. That also doesn't take us anywhere. I mean, it's not real understanding. Is to see it, to watch it, to feel it. But humanity has a big problem because we tend to think everything. We think, we don't watch, we think. So when we listen to something, we listen to the words, and then we get stuck. Because the word is thinking. A word is a description of thought. And then we are stuck, because thought is, we have gone through the facets of and characteristics of many characteristics of thought we have gone through already, and we've seen that thought has many flaws, to say it carefully, many flaws, and it's quite a blind entity, and it's fragmented, and it's repetitive. So what I want to do now is, because I see that it's extremely difficult for human beings, for humanity, to understand this topic, because we are not used to go through this. We are used to accumulated knowledge and to memorize some speciality. You are either a painter, or an artist, or a musician, or a mathematician, or a physician, or whatever, biologist, historian, psychologist, whatever. These are all specialities. So no speciality will give us the understanding of what I discuss here. This is why it's so difficult for everybody. It doesn't matter if they went through university and they are very good in their speciality. They may be geniuses in their own speciality. A great musician, a great pianist, a great mathematician. But then when they go here, somehow they get stuck. And this has a root cause. It's not just casual. Why is it? Who knows? No, it has a root cause. So let me go through what we discussed in session 1, 2, and 3, so that then we can go a little further. So first, let's go through session 1. In session 1, we discussed that humanity has a common ground, that more than the differences, which we always emphasize, no, I'm different from you, I'm not you. So we always emphasize the differences. No, I'm a man and you are a woman. Big difference. No, I am scientist, you are artist. I have no idea what that is. I'm interested in art. And the artists say, oh, science. No, I'm artist, or I'm musician. So we always emphasize the differences. Now, why is that? We will go through, not too in detail, because I want to go through all the 3 sessions. Today is the 4th. To make a recapitulation. So, why is it that we always jump to see differences and don't really we oversee the common ground of humanity? And maybe we also don't want it, because we want to feel we are different. It's part of what we have meant to believe, that we are different. No, I'm different. So If I'm different, then I can be special. The common ground doesn't make me special. You see? So this is why, but there is a common ground of all humans. And this is the main thing to understand. Then we said that conflict is a constant issue in humanity, and in all the countries, in all societies of the world, in all institutions, conflict. And it is like that because thought, and this is what we have gone into, because thought is the one and only tool which we believe to have as humans. We are totally convinced. It's like it's actually a conclusion that there is nothing else. It's thought. And not only that there is nothing else, not only that, we are made a conclusion, and we are convinced that thought is important. So it's not that it's the only tool, also that thought is important. It's very important, and it's extremely important. And also that thought is very valuable. We have given thought immense importance and value. Now, why is that? Why are we so defensive about thought and say there's nothing better than thought? Because thought controls us. That's it. It's the same thought that makes humans, takes humans, or puts humans into this attitude. It's an attitude. Because humans are thought. Whenever we think, we are thought. It's not separate. It's not I think. No, I am thought. It's not I think. It's a wrong description of the language. It's not the I think. Because I want to think. That's why I think. No. It seems correct, but it's not. Because it's a division that thought creates. This is why the language divides me and thought. We are not the same. I think that I use thought for my convenience. Is that so? thought uses the me. It's the other way around. Because thought is the creator of the me. So, and thought is fragmented. Because all what we discussed, because thought is the past. And thought is not only the past, it's fragments of knowledge. Total knowledge is not possible because knowledge is accumulative. Knowledge is accumulation. Which means without knowledge, without accumulation there is no knowledge possible. And whenever there is accumulation, fragments are inevitable because what we accumulate are fragments. So accumulation of fragments is never the whole, never. Will stay always fragments. We can be accumulating for ages, which we are really doing. We are accumulating knowledge since ages, since millennia. We are accumulating knowledge as humans, and we still are accumulating. Accumulation will never end, will never be complete. So now, this year we have completed accumulation. There's nothing more to accumulate. Now we have wholeness of knowledge, total knowledge. No, it's not possible. That doesn't exist. Knowledge is fragmentation. Knowledge is always the part of the whole. There's only one part, and one very small part always. We can have 1,000 different parts, and then we have more knowledge. But more knowledge, the more, doesn't mean that it completes and it transforms into the whole. Never. That is not possible. So, thought is the outcome of that through memory. So, that means we adopt all the qualities of thought. And one of the qualities of thought, one of many, is fragmentation. So the thinker then is convinced that he is separate from thought. I think. Not only that, he says, it's my thought. It's my thought, not yours, it's my thought. And my thought is important, always. Because whatever the me does is very important. So, the thought of the me is very important. My thoughts are very important. So this is the constellation that is built in. Now let's continue. I'm making a recount of what we actually already said. We talked about experience. We need experience to accumulate knowledge. From knowledge is stored in the brain as memory, and thought is the outcome of memory, and then thinking starts. Who is thinking? I am thinking. Who is I? Is the me. Who is the me? I'm going fast now. Who is the me? It's an invention of thought, nothing else. Nothing special. So if I believe in the me, it's that I am memory. Because I believe in the me. To believe is to think. Any belief is thought. So any belief is the known. There's no unknown belief, it's impossible. There's also no unknown knowledge, that's impossible. But there's also no unknown experience. Many people say, this you find in those who want to experience something special. Either religious experience or metaphysical, whatever. And then they say, I've experienced something very special. Something totally new. And then when you ask them, what have you experienced? They are able to explain to you exactly what they experienced. And then they say something totally new. So it's a very special experience because it's very new. It has nothing to do with anything. No. What is happening here? Can we experience something new? What does it mean to experience something new? If it would be possible to experience something new, there would not be possible, the explanation would not be possible. Because it's new. And whatever explanation you give is always old, is known, is knowledge. It's something that you learned and you memorize and repeat. It's the outcome of memory. Our whole structure is memory. We are the past, so we are memory. So whatever we put up is already stored. So the me says, I experienced something very special. And he doesn't realize that it must be outcome of memory. Otherwise, experience is not possible. This is an illusion of thought. Now, what happens after thinking? What happens? again comes experience. And the experience creates more knowledge. And more knowledge creates more memory stored in the brain. And then, again, another thought. And from thought, thinking starts. So it's always a closed circle. It never ends. This is how humanity lives. Enclosed in a cage of isolation. And in this cage, all the illusions can be created. Who creates the illusions? The me. But who is the me? Thought. So actually it's thought that creates all the illusions. But the me takes it and says, it's mine. It's a neurotic, blind neurotic, let's say, behavior of humans, of humanity. So let's continue. We talked about the past. Just 1 second, I come back. So the past. What about the past? Why do we talk about the past? This is all in session 1. We started. Memory is the past. Knowledge is the past. Thought is the past. What does that mean? The thinker is the past. All the time. Because the thinker is thought, and thought is memory. It's all the same. We just don't have the vocabulary to. There are no words to englobe these aspects that are the same. This you can only through words is not possible. This is why I say intellectual understanding is not really understanding. We have to watch that in us, observe it, to watch, to observe in us, to realize it. As long as we don't realize it, we stay the same. So, the me, which is a creation of thought, is the past. Always. What does it mean? It means a lot. It means nothing new. It's always repetition. It's the past. And it is the past, but it's only what is stored in the memory, in the brain, nothing else. So it's extremely limited. Extremely limited. So now we said that knowledge is accumulation. So it means it's never complete. Never complete, and it's always, it's time. Always time. Because accumulation is time. The accumulation requires time. So now, what else? Thinking is a program stored in the brain. This is it's a pattern, it's a program. That's why humans live by patterns, which is always the same repetition. And because what is stored in the brain is memory of fragmented parts, the brain is divided, it's fragmented. The brain operates as a fragment as well. And the brain is time. Unfortunately, because this is very limited element of the brain. The brain has immense capacity for technological activities, but psychologically it's extremely limited. That is what creates neurotic behavior in humans. Because the me belongs to the psyche, and thought actually belongs as well to the psyche. Because the thought has infiltrated in the psyche. Thought has gone out of its right place, which is the external technological aspect where thought is helpful and necessary. I mentioned to build a table. That's good. For that we need thought and knowledge, which is the same. Knowledge is thought. We need that. And there we need time, which is chronological time, but it's not psychological time. There, knowledge is in the right place. But thought has invaded, let's use that word, has infiltrated the psyche of humans. And there, thought becomes extremely destructive. And I said that we have to really not fool ourselves, and we have to distinguish this capacity. We lost this capacity to distinguish. Thought is not thought. Knowledge is not knowledge. Knowledge is very destructive in specific areas, extremely destructive. We will go into that. So, we said knowledge is accumulation, never complete. And is always time. Now, thought cannot solve ever any problem, any conflict. Why? You have to check this out. Thought can never solve any problem, and has never solved any problem in the past. And any conflict has been able to dissolve through thought. Why? Because human problems and conflicts are on this psyche, in the psyche. There is the problem of humanity in the psyche, deep rooted in the psyche. And why is it in the psyche? Because thought has been infiltrated in the psyche. So thought, psychological thought, is not the thought we need to build a table. Psychological thought is invention, is created by thought. It's an illusion. And psychological thought creates, is the creator of the problem. But thought always participates, always. When there is a problem, thought says there is a solution. And thought invents a solution. But it's not a solution, because thought cannot. Thought itself never realizes the conflict it creates. It goes on and on, because the only purpose of thought is to prevail. So thought does everything to not disappear. And of course, by creating the me, which is creation of thought, it will always continue to exist inside the humans. Inside, let's say, when inside the skin, as it were, in the psyche. And so thought creates whatever is necessary to have the me always occupied with thought. So thought, the only thing thought can do is project, because thought is time. So the only thing that thought can do is modify thought. Change one thought into another thought. Modify it. That's all. And there it leaves conflict on the way. New conflicts. And old conflicts stay. New conflicts come. But at the end, old or new, at the end it's conflict. Conflict is conflict. And the fragmented me starts to analyze different conflicts and how to solve it. The me cannot solve anything, because as long as the me exists, means that thought exists. That's a trap. This is one of the most difficult traps for humanity to realize and to acknowledge. If we say thought cannot solve and has never solved any problem in life of humanity the last thousands of years, psychologically, it solves problems technologically. But not psychologically. If that is so, that means that the me, which is the son of thought, it's a creator of thought, also will never be able to solve any problem. And this is what we encounter in life. You see it in society. The me is the thinker. So thinking, you cannot solve any problem. It's not possible. Because of the nature of the me and the characteristics of thought, which is the same. I am thought. It's quite dramatic. So let's continue. Thought is conflict, implicitly is conflict thought. Thought cannot do otherwise. Let me say it like this. And always never forget that the words are just words. It's also a creation of thought. Languages have been developed through thinking. So there we have another problem of confusion. Especially we encounter confusion contradiction and conflict. Where there is fragment and conflict and confusion, there must be conflict. Inevitable. And if whatever thought pretends to say, I will solve, now I really will solve the conflict forever, it's a deception. This thought is deceiving itself. And this is what humans do. Now, I said thought is conflict, implicitly is conflict. It's not that thought creates conflict. No, thought is conflict. It just manifests them in human society, in human relations. And thought is confusion. Because thought itself doesn't know what it happens with himself. Thought is a mechanic entity. Now, humans are thought and are slaves of their thinking patterns. Do you realize, if you observe, you will realize that we have a pattern that repeats itself constantly. Not through one's own life, through the ages. The patterns of our parents, grandparents, we still have the same patterns. Because thought cannot do otherwise. It's nature of thought. And if thought is infiltrated in our psyche, nothing can change in humans. It's impossible. Thought is acting in the wrong place. Thought has its place, but it also has its wrong place, and its wrong place is the psyche of humanity. There it creates total chaos, and it cannot be solved. As long as this pattern, thinking pattern, continues. Now we go to session 2. We said that thought has its own energy. And it is a very powerful thought energy. With potentially very destructive elements. And we don't need to, if we want to make an example, it's very easy. What is a war? We talk about wars constantly, but I'm afraid people don't really have observed deeply what is war. Well, war is destructive. Is that this is clear? There are no constructive wars. That's impossible. War is destructive, not only in the kinetic aspect. It is destructive psychologically, because there are psychological wars exist as well. War is synonym of destruction, always, inside and outside. So there it is, and it has very powerful energy. So there we don't need to go to more examples. There we have it. But now one more question, to put it very clear. What do we need for war to be built or exist? Who creates wars? People who always stay on the surface may say the bad politicians, the cooperative interests, the money and the business. Is that the fundamental cause of war? Are those who create wars? This is very superficial. This is the last manifestation. No, it's thought. Thought with all its blindness and obsession. And thought is obsessive. Thought is blind. These are the characteristics of thought. Thought is blind, is obsessive, and develops a specific thought energy. But it's a specific thought energy with destructive elements. So then, the table is set for wars. That's why we have had, in the last 5,000 years, we have had, we will never finish enlisting all the wars. And we continue like that. With more, with less in technology, nothing avoids wars. Nothing can end wars. Wars just transform itself, because the technology transforms itself. But that's all. We don't know to go into details how wars have been transformed. We know horses, tanks, missiles, bombs, drones. Now drones. So that's enough. Now what else? Thought is not the living. We are already in session 2. Thought is not the living. Human beings, the humanity is the living. thought is a mechanical process. Mechanical and material process. It's a process. Repetitive process. Obsessive process. Blind process. And now, can thought be intelligent? A big question. The thinkers, people think yes. There are intelligent thoughts, and there is intelligent thought possible, and there is unintelligent thought possible. Because thought invents the opposites. So of course there must be intelligent thought in order to have this unintelligent thought. There must be constructive thought in order to talk about destructive thought. There must be positive thought in order to create negative thought. There must be good thought, in order to create bad thought. Who is playing that game? This is the big question we have to make. Who is playing that game? It's a game. Thought. And the me, what does it? And the me, what? But the me is thought, so the me takes it. It's automatic. Whatever thought invents, the me adopts as real and even true. It has nothing to do with truth, all this. But this is a topic we will go much later. So, thought, what else does thought do? Thought is the creator of our world on earth. Whatever we see that has been created on earth through the centuries and millennia, is creation of thought. Because thought has been infiltrated in the psyche of man, so human beings have not been able, for the last thousands of years, been able to realize that they are caught in thought. So they adopt thought. The me says, I am the creator of my thoughts. Of course, always intelligent thoughts. Everybody considers himself intelligent, not unintelligent. But it's thought that has created this world. Marvelous things like cathedrals, great buildings, immense bridges, medical machines, medical devices. Art, music is also creation of thought. And in parallel, thought has created all the rest. Has created the religions, all the illusions, all the superstitions, all the wishful thinkings, all the emotional conflicts of humanity. It's creation of thought. All the confusion, all the contradictions, all the destructive devices, bombs, nuclear bombs, in the actuality drones, suicide drones to destroy. So in parallel, thought creates destruction and creates or has created some technology, which is also technology that was helpful and is helpful for humanity. But, and now here's the main point, because the psyche of humanity is infiltrated by thought, by knowledge, the confusion in humanity is so big, the contradiction is so immense, that the technology also is dangerous for the well-being of humanity. Because as long as the psyche is not in order and in balance, all the external inventions of technology sooner or later go against humanity. Have potential destructive elements. This may not be totally clear just now, but this maybe I will make another video in detail to understand this. Because thought has created nations. Thought has created institutions. Thought is the creator of governments. And it's quite obvious to see, if we observe it clearly and simply, that the institutions finally are not in favor of humanity. They seem to be. Because the institutions are abstract entities used by thinking human beings who are confused. So, conflicts continue. So, humanity doesn't need more institutions. Humanity needs the regeneration, the psychic regeneration of humanity. And that doesn't work as long as humanity only uses the thinking tool, because thinking is the past. So let's continue. What else did we discuss? The cleverness and the cunningness of thought. Is to be clever intelligence? Just a question. A very important question. To be clever, is that intelligence? To be cunning, is that intelligence? Now, one thing is clear. Thought is clever. And thought is cunning. If we like, we can just change these words and adjectives and say this is intelligence of thought. We can if we want, and actually we do it because we like that word, intelligence. Because thought goes by likes and dislikes. And according to that, thought chooses the more liking words, the more nice words. But what are the facts? Is it really intelligent? To answer that question, we have to observe really what is intelligence. And then we will understand if thought can be intelligence or not. But what is clear, thought is clever and thought is cunning. If that is intelligence, this is a big question mark. We'll leave it open because we need more elements before we go into that. But one thing also we can understand easily. The thinker, which is the me, if the thinker is thought, the thinker is as clever as thought and as cunning as thought. This is why we observe many humans who are like that, they are clever and they are cunning. Of course, is that intelligence? That's a big question mark. People say, yes, intelligence. People even admire clever people or cunning people. We leave it open. Now, what else? The word, we go by words. And many words have an emotional connotation. Or very emotional connotation. The word is knowledge. The word is the known. And it's the past. Now, can any word describe what the word means? Let me ask it different, to be clearer. Is any word fit to describe what it means, what the word means? And I made the example with a tree. Is the word tree the tree? Is it the same? The word tree and the tree. What is the word tree? Well, first of all, it's a word. Of course, the word tree is a word. Let's be simple. And the tree, when we observe a tree, which is a living thing that is growing, is not the word. It's a tree. This is also very simple. Huh? You observe the tree, and it's something, but it's not the word. The tree itself is not related with the word. The tree doesn't know the word tree. Do you see the trap? Now, then again, what is the word tree? What is it? Yes, it's a word. And what is a word? What is a word? Any word. It's a thought. And what is a thought? It's a memory. It's something learned. Something that is stored and that we, thinker, know. Because we learned it somehow. We learned it. What did we learn? If we learn the word tree, what did we learn? Some thinking aspects of the tree. Something. whatever. I don't know, color or measurement. Tall, it's tall. Or some trees are taller, others are shorter. What else did we learn? Abstract elements. But the tree, the living element of the tree, cannot be described through the word. There's no capacity in a word for that, because for that we need to observe and watch the tree. And then you will feel, and what you feel, what you perceive, is much more than 1,000 words. Words are insignificant if you are able to watch, to observe. But what is the problem of humanity? That actually the me is convinced that he knows what a tree is. But he doesn't know a thing. Because when he looks, if he ever looks and observes a tree, which hardly don't do that, he will think the tree. It goes automatic. He relates the tree with the word tree, which he learned, which is a word. It's a thought, a projection from memory. It's in the memory. It's stored in memory. It's the past, and that's all that happens. Nothing more happens. So, the word is not the description. And the word tree is not the tree. No word is what it describes. So, this shows us that we have a problem with language. Because language is limited. Now, we've discussed as well in session 2 that the me is the creation of thought. And I already mentioned it. The me is the creation of thought. The me is thought. I am thought. And what else? Thought creates the center through the me. What is the center? The center is the me. I this, I that. You this, you that. So the center, what implications has a center? The center has implication that everything is self-centered. So my success, my house, my possession, my pain, my ideas, my opinion, my conclusion, my ambition, my wishes. You see, this is the center. And everything goes to the center. This is nature of all thinking humans. And it's promoted even in education. Because the education is also created by thought. So it's promoted. You are important. Your success is important. And this is psychological knowledge. And it is time. My achievements, that is time. My wishes is time, it's tomorrow. My thought is the past and projected to the tomorrow. It's always the same movement. The past goes through the present and creates the tomorrow. Psychological tomorrow, which doesn't exist. Now, belief. We discussed belief as well. What is a belief? Humans like to believe many things. They don't believe in one thing, they believe in many, many things. First of all, they believe in their own thought, which is not their thought. They believe in thought. This is because this is the way that thought prevails. If you don't believe in the thought, thought cannot prevail. So thought will make sure that you believe in thought. You, which is the me. So, to believe in thought means that you identify with it. Identification is belief. If you don't identify with something, you can't believe in it, in that. Identification. Now, thought has no ability to face facts. Thought has not this ability. Thought doesn't face facts. Thought avoids facts. Because facts don't depend on thought. So, thought being the past is time and projects itself always away from what is, which is the fact. And it creates many tomorrows. This is nature of thought. It's always tomorrow. Because the movement is constant. So, thought not facing facts, what does it do? It creates ideas. The idea is not what is an idea. Is what should be or what will be or what has been and should come back. Always time projected from the past and to the future. These are ideas. Ideas are illusions because it is not what is. Is what should be or will be. What we want to be. What we wish to be, but it is not. Now belief, which is so rooted in human psyche, because belief is part of the psyche. It's a psychological element, the belief. To believe is to skip or to avoid the fact. So you can believe in anything. You just create the illusion. You invent something which is an illusion, and then you believe it. That's it. Now, what happens when you believe? Even if it's an illusion, because belief only makes sense as long as you don't face facts. Once you face facts, beliefs may have no meaning anymore. No belief. So, what happens when somebody believes in something? Doesn't matter what. It doesn't have to be religion. No. You can believe in so many things. You can believe that you are intelligent. It's a belief. So what happens? The belief is an illusion, is not what is. But the belief transforms into psychological reality. For the believer, who is the thinker. The believer is the thinker, it's the same. So it's not that the believer says, I believe in this, but I know it's illusion. No, the believer says, no, I believe in this because this is reality. He makes out of illusion reality. Psychologically, this has huge implications in the action, in decision making of humans. When beliefs are on the way. So when there are some spiritual clubs or spiritual how should I say, organizations, let me use that word, who say, and this is since ancient times, they say, illusion doesn't exist. What does that mean? Illusion doesn't exist because it's an illusion. So they say, don't worry about illusion. Illusion doesn't exist. What happens then? Thought comes in and says, oh, illusion doesn't exist, so let's believe in that illusion doesn't exist. So it's another belief. But for the believer of an illusion, and here you have to observe very clear, for the believer of the illusion becomes reality. Let me say it different. The illusion for the believer of a specific illusion is reality for the believer. It doesn't stay illusion. The believer, through thought, of course, this is a thought process, all. Transforms the illusion into reality. Because he wants that. He wants something to be reality for himself. For his own comfort or for his own security. Finished. The believer is not interested in facts. He's so far away from facts that he said, don't tell me about facts. I believe in this. And this is real. He doesn't even realize that it's an illusion. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even care. He makes it reality in his imagination. And there he stops. That's it. He creates that reality in him. That's very dangerous, because this is how ideologies are created. And what one human does, many do as well, because humans go by the pattern of thought, which is imitation. So I want the same as the other. If he says that this is real, then it's true. Then I want the same reality. I want to participate in that idea which has become reality. It's a belief. And it creates, as we said, thought has potential powerful energy. It creates collective powerful energy, that belief. And collectively, they make some specific illusion reality. And they go by that. This is tremendous conflict, because you create immense conflict, potential conflict. And then this community defends, because it doesn't want it to disappear. It defends it. Through violence, doesn't matter. Violence is part of the thinker, because conflict creates violence. So confusion develops into violence. It's inevitable. It's all the same. It's one whole package. And so the last thing that we have discussed, well, it's not the last, but we are still now to break thought patterns. Is that possible? It's not possible through more knowledge and more different thought. You cannot transform thought and add more knowledge in order to break thought patterns. If you say, well, I want to break thought patterns. Who says that? Thought. Thought will participate and will tell you how to break thought patterns. Thought participates. Thought is always there. And of course, it doesn't work. But thought creates hierarchies. For the me to become selective. And they say, yes, of course, you can, you just choose positive thought. And then you are set, then everything is okay. You just said coherent thought. That is possible. Oh, fantastic. And then you accept good thought. That exists also, because we don't want negative. So there is negative. Okay. So I will pick and choose. I will choose positive thought. I will choose good thought. We all want positive thought, good thought, coherent thought. And then we are set. Fantastic. Good life can start. Now, who decides what is positive and negative thought? Who decides what is good and bad thought? Who decides what is coherent and incoherent thought? Who will put up the ranking? The ranking list. Who will do that? Thought. We don't leave the cage. We never exit the cage. Why not? Because we don't want. Because we let ourselves get mesmerized by thought. We like thought. We like thought energy. We like hierarchies. We like duality. Good, bad. I am good, of course. I'm always good. The others, who knows? But I'm good. And not only that, we live in time, so tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow I'm better than today. So it's a constant deception, self-deception, every minute of thinking process. So I see that we are already 1 hour 50 minutes. It's quite a long time. So let's stop here, and I will continue in the next session with a summary, because we could not get through. So in session 5 we continue, and then in session 6 we will go in detail with more elements. So have a nice day. and see you in the next session, which will be session 5.